What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sidelined. I'm Brooke 𝗬𝗟. That's my girl, Dani K, coming to us from
Turin, Italy. Cheers, everybody. It is way late. This is actually the next day here. That is how late we're recording here in Italy, but we make things work. But it's really cool. I'll be honest, this is day 20 of my trip. I started in Paris. Now I'm in northern Italy. If you've never heard of Turin, it's that Piedmont region if you're a wine person. But it's the best 8 players in the world that are here. So we have one more day of round robin play, and then it's semifinals, and then we find a champion at the end. And Carlos Alcaraz just secured his year-end world #1 ranking. So really cool. 𝗦𝗫cie 𝗰𝗶𝗹 world #2, and we're in Italy. So the place literally shakes when he walks on court. They're so loud. So it's been really fun.
Oh my gosh, you have good tennis, good wine.
Love it.
Just good food. How's the food? The pasta has to be amazing there.
Pasta's fantastic. Unfortunately, our timing, not to get into the weeds, is a little bit difficult to go get proper dinner, but I was able to sneak away a little bit. My aunt and uncle have come for a couple days, so I get to see a little family, which is very nice. I have the best support system in the world. But yeah, I'm feeling really lucky to be here. Brooke, you are coming to us with lighter hair, and it looks so pretty.
It is. Thank you. It is a little lighter. I just wanted a little zhuzh.
I like it. How's your free time? Are you back in the studio?
I am back in the studio. I'm back on the lead for a little bit. I go in like a couple days a week. And so that's been great just to see everybody. I felt like, well, this just shows you how long it's been since I've been in the studio. My key card didn't work. So I had to get a new key card. I had reintroduced myself to people. I'm kidding. But that's how long it was. It had been a year almost. So, but it feels good to just kind of be back in the studio and kind of flex those muscles again. You know what I mean?
Totally. It's a different setting when you're in studio instead of reporting. But for all of you that listen every single week, next week, Brooke and I have a very special episode. We are so excited. We teased it a couple weeks ago that we thought something was in the works. It's officially happening. The White Sox are hosting Sidelined, and we're going to have an event where people can buy tickets. They can come and watch us live. So if you're listening to this week, get your tickets. It's on our Instagram page. You can find it on Brooke's page, my page. We're posting it everywhere. We would love to see you. It's going to be so fun.
We're going to have 𝗁cie𝗰𝗋𝗄 on. She play-by-play, silent reporter, studio host. Talk about somebody that does it all. So it's going to be really cool. We're going to be in the White Sox clubhouse, I believe. And we're going to have maybe some merch, cocktails, pink cocktails, which we love. And we're going to just talk some sports, and we're going to be girls, talk girl stuff too. It's going to be fun. So, yes, sign up, come hang out with us. We're going to have a great time. But we also are going to have a great time here because we have a guest coming on this episode, and somebody that we both know. Gosh, she's such a queen. She is the on-field reporter for the Dodgers, and her hand has to get very, very heavy right now because she just won another World Series with them. So we're so excited to have Kirsten Watson on the sideline. And Kirsten joins us now. Kirsten, we appreciate you taking the time. How are you?
I'm good. I'm like in my newfound freedom of the offseason, but I'm good. Thank you for having me, guys.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. We've got to talk about the World Series. This season had to have been such a whirlwind for you. What was it like? That was probably one of the best World Series I've seen.
Ever.
Ever. Yeah.
Yeah. It was insane. Like the emotions I feel like that fans experienced at home on their couch just watching baseball, that times 10 is like what we experienced, whether it was in LA or in Toronto. Like it felt like, I don't know, I feel like I lived a lot of lives. I got a lot of great hair now. I like literally called my hair lady, and I'm like, yeah, I need to get my roots done immediately because this has added like a new level of stress to my life. It was insane, but it was incredible. And honestly, like, it really, like, there were times where I was like, oh, there was a moment where I was like, the Dodgers are going to win in 5. Like, we can do this. But then it was like,
are we?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's what was so crazy about it, was just the constant momentum swings throughout the entire series. Game 7, what was going through your mind? Where were you sitting Game 7, especially down the stretch?
Yeah, so game 7, I was in the press box. So as you guys know, like when the rights all change for the postseason, everything becomes national. So we still, for the Dodgers, we have a pre and post game show. So I'll still do like post game interviews on the field, but during the game, I'm not on. So I'm sitting in the press box, just watching like all the rest of the media, and like how it started, it was like all this excitement, you know, for Shohei Ohtani. It's his first time in a very long time, first time in his big league career. No, second time in his big league career on shortened rest. And so when you look at how the regular season went, they were so just very mindful of how he had essentially like 7 days off before each start. Then they were putting in a position where he would have like an off day. So his start date would be like a Wednesday, and then Thursday is the off day type thing for the team. So they were being so mindful of how they were managing him. And then by the time we got to October, they were kind of like, he has a looser leash. And then all of a sudden it's like he's going on shorter rest for the second time in his big league career. And it happens to be game 7 of the World Series. So you have this excitement because of the competitor that he is, the talent that he is, and what you expect he can do on the mound. So first you have that. He goes out there, obviously the stuff like looked really good at some points, but it was a little shaky toward the back end of his outing. And then you kind of just felt like, man, it's not often you see Shohei Ohtani give up a 3-run home run. And it's not often that like these runs are being tacked onto him, and it's game 7 and we're in Toronto. The fans in Canada are losing their mind. Like it was shaking in the Rogers Center. So you're just kind of like, oh man, but then you go back to it's game 7, and this is not going to be a traditional game. Like we are truly going to see the best of the best. And then you think about the arms that are coming out of the bullpen. You think about the arms they have going. So it just was like anything is possible. But there was like a moment, I'd be lying to you if I was like, still like, you know, we got this. And I'm like texting the group chat of some of my friends at the Dodgers, and like different, like one of my best friends at work, he does stats for Fox, Rick 𝗵𝗫, and I'm texting him like, oh my goodness, they have to figure something out. Like someone needs a big moment. And Rick is probably like, I'm actually working with like, we're having our own moments in here. I need you to leave me alone. Whatever, it's fine. But so there's just like all of these emotions of like, like man, like maybe this isn't our year, but we've come so far. And then all of a sudden it's a 1-run game, and I don't know, I had this like moment of like, to lose game 7 by 1 run is heartbreaking. Like especially when you're like battling back to get into the game. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, I don't know. It was the craziest thing in the world. And then, so now it's a 1-run game in, I think it was like the 8th inning. And I went downstairs because like anything can happen at that point. I do have to be ready for a walk-off if that's the case. What was it? Bottom of the 9th inning. They're still up by a run. No, I'm sorry. Top of the 9th inning. They're still up by a run. Miguel Rojas hits. Actually, I'm lying to you guys. Now I'm like remembering it all together. I stayed upstairs in the press box. Okay. Because I was like, you know what? If we tie this, either they're going to win right here, because it's top of the 9th inning. Either they're going to win, and that's that. The World Series is over. Or like Shohei was going to come up to hit. And it was like, if somebody gets on, then Shohei could like, you give up the 3 runs, and you can have this comeback storybook moment. Everything with Shohei is just like that. So it just felt like that was going to be the moment. Miguel Rojas is batting 9th. He comes to the plate. He hits this home run to left field. And it's just like, oh my gosh, the game is tied. And at this point, I'm kind of like, I got to get downstairs. Like, we could win this. Like, Shohei still hasn't come up to hit. Like, we could win this, you know?
Yeah.
And then I go downstairs at that point. After that, I have absolutely no idea what happened.
Blacked out.
I'm kind of blacked out. I'm underneath with everyone in the tunnel. All of a sudden, we're going extra innings. David Bassett is down there with me. After the 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀, in which he like posterized 𝗵cie Hernandez, I'm freaking out. I'm hugging him. He's looking at me like I'm crazy. Like it was just, at that point we're watching like on a monitor underneath. And then it was the double play that ended the game. And I didn't even actually see the double play. And I'm like, then it goes, they're reviewing it. So I'm watching the screen. And then it was over.
Game over.
Yeah, it was insane. But at the
Dodgers are your champions.
Yeah, it was insane. Like just, yeah.
The fact that it went to game 7 in general was crazy. I think it's almost not even fair to try and make you pick your favorite moment of that entire series. But there were so many good ones. I'm just curious, like gut reaction, which one was it?
You know, I could give you like 3 of them.
Okay,
Will Klein, yes, Will Klein in the extra innings game. For him to have that moment, like insane, just absolutely insane. For Freddie Freeman to have another World Series moment, walk-off home run. We're in 18 extra innings, 18. Like, we're like, please, can we wrap this up? Like, can somebody do it? And then it would have to be Miguel Rojas having the game-tying home run, just because he is quite possibly one of the most incredible people that I've ever met. He is such an amazing leader. He's such an amazing just individual. And so for him to have that moment after being, you know, a bench player in the postseason and really just kind of like the guy to keep everyone motivated and reminding them who they are, for him to have that moment just, I think, was everything, if I'm being honest. But just quickly, I want to say my chaotic memory of the World Series is because that was the most chaotic experience of my life. I'm like going through like, wait, what happened? Oh yeah. That's why it was like that.
I can imagine. I mean, that's a lot of emotions.
Yes.
The emotions, like I was emotional, like watching it from home. I can't imagine actually being there and then covering it. Like it's one thing as a fan, but then for you, like you're trying to separate that and you're like cheering on your team, but you're like, no, I got to stay focused because I got to interview this guy right after if we do win, right?
Literally.
So
it's like,
go ahead.
No, sorry. It's just like, it's the emotions. Like you're so happy. Like I was genuinely so happy for these guys, for this group of people who like this year, it was far from guaranteed. Yes. When we look at how the year started, it was like, oh, okay, they're going to just go on this tear. Then there were a lot of injuries, there was ups, there was downs. It just felt like they kind of couldn't really find themselves. And all of a sudden how they ended the regular season, it was like, okay, like we're getting some traction, but we're about to be seeing in the NLDS, likely the Phillies. Who did we see then? The Phillies. And it felt like the Phillies were going, I did not necessarily expect the Dodgers to beat the Phillies. I wanted them to beat the Phillies, but it just felt like, I don't know.
No, I mean that there were but to your point, like there were a lot of questions. I think that, especially down the stretch of the season, the team was showing they were vulnerable, right? And so, but I think one thing that makes the Dodgers so good is like you were talking about it a little earlier, is you guys just know how to turn it on in the postseason. Like you just the clutchness, like in that lineup, and then just like the managing of the pitching staff. It's just like you guys like. What's in the water in the Dodgers? That's what we always ask. Like, what's in the water there? Yeah. You guys just know how to turn it on. So that had to have been like such a cool. And then the parade. I mean, what was the parade like?
No, the parade was insane. It was last year was massive. Last year was massive. I did not know what to expect. There were millions of people in the city that showed up for that parade. This year was twice the size.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I just got chills.
All of us were like, where did all these people come from? And also, like, we just won 2 days ago. Like this, how it all turned around so quickly. It was so beautiful. And even it was longer this year. So the fact that like the route that we took through downtown LA went a little bit further, and just seeing how there were so many fans in every single section, like, I don't know. It felt like this was like beyond bigger than.
And maybe that's because, like, you know, I live in Southern California, so I feel like LA needed a win in general in this like climate, and maybe everybody came together in that. I don't know, but it did look really, really awesome. I actually had an insane amount of FOMO being in Europe, believe it or not, instead of in LA, to be able to go and watch that. But I have a very hard-hitting journalistic question for you before we ask more about these celebrations. How and which shampoo does someone use to get that much champagne out of said hair?
That's funny. I am an Oribe girly through and through. I love it. I love it.
Like 2 or 3 washes, or is it just one?
It's a double wash for sure. Double wash for sure. I also make sure. So because like now every travel, like whenever we're on the road or if we're here, like everywhere has a women's locker room now, which is so clutch. So thank you, Major League Baseball.
Yes.
I shower there too. So it's like, I could do like, just like whatever shampoo is provided there. I'll do like a rinse or whatever. And then 𝗿𝗏, but it's a double wash.
Okay.
It is a double wash.
I need to know, because that sounds like stickiness for like a week.
No, it's not great. And someone
burns the eyes, right?
It does burn your eyes. Someone tried to convince me that champagne was a nice conditioner, and I said, I just don't think that's the case. I said, I don't think that's it. But
only you're in a good mood. That's the only reason.
Yes,
Yeah, you're like, it was for a good cause. Yeah.
Yes, but I am an 𝗿𝗏 girly, and then I have the best hairdresser in the world. Her name is Gloria, and she has learned baseball schedule. And so I'm like, hey, girl, so there's a chance that there will be champagne on this day, which means I will need to blow out the next morning.
Yeah.
And she's always here for me. So,
well, I mean, like, before we get in, because everybody knows you as, you know, the Dodgers reporter, and we want to, you know, dive deeper into that. But I mean, first off, what's it been like just to kind of decompress and just chill right now? Because the baseball season, it's such a grind.
Yes, it is such a grind. Honestly, I feel like since working in the sport, I have truly developed just like so much respect and understanding for these guys and how they have to live their lives and take care of their bodies to be available to play and post that many days. It's insane. And honestly, it's kind of like you're just like, especially come October, you're just riding a high. Like the travel, all of it, you're just like, here we go, we're doing it. This is just, there's no other way. And how lucky are we to be doing it? Like, that's the other thing you really take into consideration, because all the other teams, 20 other teams dream of being in this position. And we are one of the 2 who gets to be on the stage. So first you have that moment. And then it's just like, when it ends, it's just over. Like, you're just like, okay. Like when it's just like, like I have cleaned this house.
You have to go on like a normal flight, Kirsten, like one that's not provided by the team.
Well, you know what's funny? I actually have to do that tomorrow. And obviously I know the government was shut down. I'm very aware of what's happening in society, but like, I didn't necessarily know the impact it was having on travel. And everyone's like, are you sure you want to be traveling? And I'm like, what do you mean? I've been traveling it's fine. And they're like, no, sweet girl. Yeah. You'll be traveling through the private airport here at LAX with the team, with the flight, with just freedom, essentially.
Yeah.
And you having to go through, like, obviously things have changed now and the government is no longer down, so it'll be a little bit different. But I was actually like texting my friends, like, yeah, I don't know if I could do this.
Yeah. You're very used to that luck.
You have clear and pre-check at least?
I do, yes. I have, so I will be fine. But it was just really funny. I was like, I'm a little nervous. I don't know if I can do this. But obviously now it's all good.
I can imagine flying charter. It gets very very cozy and comfortable there. And you're like, what do you mean I have to wait in line through security? Like, what is?
Do you want to know how spoiled I am? Our flight attendants are the greatest in the world. So I will get on the plane and I will have my hot tea waiting for me. I usually will have a little note. Sometimes the coaches, they know the snacks I like. So one of the coaches will put I love the little Brookside things. It will be on my chair. I have my 2 pillows and my blanket. I just can't help that I am the person that I am. And all these, like,
they cater to you.
They cater to me. Like, literally,
you know what? That is the best part about sometimes I think being a female in sports, when you're around that many men, like they feel this need to take care of you, you know?
Oh, are you okay? Oh, no, I'm not actually.
I'm so glad that you asked that, because I'm like it.
Yeah, so no, I am spoiled rotten and I love it. And I just, listen, we have fun. Like, I will say, like, the fact that, like, even with our flight attendants, like, we have one guy and he we'll be like, so what are the outfits that we're wearing for the week? And I'm like, okay, let's go through them. Like, we'll have a little airtime. Yes. And honestly, like, the guys like to feel part of it sometimes too. So I will say this year, our travel is a little bit different because we have 2 planes now. And so the players are on one plane and then it's the coaches and the staff and media on the other plane. And so, like, I remember last year, I don't remember what the event was. The Dodgers Foundation always has a big event that we have, or maybe it was something with like All-Star. I'm not sure what it was, but I was picking out outfits and I was like, oh, I don't know what shoes I should get. And so one of the players was near me, Evan Phillips. I'm like, Evan, what shoe do you like better? And he picked the shoe, and it was so funny because his wife comes up to me the next day and she's like, I just want you to know, Evan was so honored that you asked him which shoe that he liked. And like the fact that you agreed, he was just like,
that is so cute. Very
That
sweet.
is adorable.
I love it.
I'm curious, Kirsten, do you get fashion tips or do you talk fashion with Yoshinobu Yamamoto? Because the bags that he has, like, can we talk about his bag collection for a second? Better bags than any woman I've ever seen in my life. Like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Hermes.
Everything.
The list goes on and on.
Custom Birkins that were gifted by friends. It's incredible. I was like, can I have your friends? Can I? No, he
You're picking
had.
the wrong friends.
Yeah, no. You know what? It's so funny. So he had on his Chanel bag, the Chanel 22, which I'm so grateful I have as well. Bought it for my 30th birthday. I love that bag. Okay.
Yeah.
So he turned the corner and he had his bag on, and I go, that isn't our matching bags. And he has the most incredible collection. Like, he'll just pull ones out randomly, and I'm like, interesting. How do I get my hands on this bag?
What's your secret?
Yes. When we went to Tokyo earlier this year, which is crazy, it feels like that was like 2 years ago, but that was earlier this year. When we went, I was like, so are we going shopping? I want to go with you. Like, I want to go to the back of the store with the bags that no one has ever seen, because that's what you get to see. Unfortunately, we're not able to go due to how the schedule was set up. It was very demanding for him. But there's still a promise that we will be going shopping together. It will come. I will continue to remind him. But he has, yes, quite possibly one of the, I would just love to see like what the bag room looks like.
We will clip this, put it on social media, and tag him.
Yeah, so he knows. Don't you worry.
To remind him, like that added extra
Constantly reminding.
Like, yeah, we need you. We actually had Taylor McGregor on after that trip to Tokyo. And she told us about some of your guys'
we had so much fun.
Adventures that you had there. But we got to talk about you a little bit and your journey to get to where you're at. I mean, obviously a lot happened prior to even college, but let's start in college. You go to Columbia, you play volleyball. How did you choose Columbia? How did you know you wanted to be in journalism? Like, where did that all stem from?
Yeah, so funny enough, I actually started at Northwestern. I played volleyball there, transferred to Columbia, and finished there. So when I was going to Northwestern at first, it was more of like, everything on paper was perfect. So I was recruited, so I wanted to play in the Big Ten. I knew that was something that I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to study journalism at that point. So I got into the Medill School. So it kind of felt like that was going to be perfect. Long story short, it was far from perfect. It was not the right fit for me in so many different ways. So I ended up transferring to Columbia, where my brother was at. Columbia was not my choice. I actually wanted to transfer to Mizzou, continue with journalism. Then they were going to be in the they were going to be in the SEC. I'm from Florida. I was going to be able to get to see all my friends who were playing in the SEC. And my mother, love her to death, but she was like, so sorry, sweet girl, but I will not be coming to visit Columbia, Missouri. that is just not. Yeah, she was like, but you know where I would come visit?
An Ivy school.
New York.
That's where.
Yeah. New York City is where I will come visit.
Yeah. You almost have to respect her honesty, though. You're like, okay.
And you know what? She was so right, because ultimately, I also was getting to a point where I was starting to get burnt out from volleyball, and I didn't necessarily know what I was feeling then, and I think she was able to see that. And so by going to Columbia, one, like, my brother had just finished there, so he was working in New York City and living there. I was able to be in a position in which, like, yes, I could still play volleyball. I ended up only playing another year, but like, I was forced to be around individuals who really understood who they were academically. And I don't think I knew who I was. Like, I knew who I was as an athlete, but I didn't know who I was I got really good grades in school. Like, I was always smart, but I think I just was lost in this identity of like, oh, I'm the athlete of the family. And so by going to a school in which my brother, who I thought was the genius of the family, is the genius of the family, but like, by being able to be at that level with him and understand, not in a competition per se, but just to understand that I am there as well, I think was what I needed at that time. So I ended up, I transferred to Columbia. My mother got her way. What usually does. But honestly, like, she was so right. Like, I remember graduating and like talking to her and my dad about the decision and just being like, you know what, like I did need this to understand who I am in this world without volleyball. And so that was really big for me to learn that, especially at a younger age. Made some of my greatest friends, joined a sorority there, like did all the things.
Yeah.
Ended up in New York City. Had literally just had so much fun. And I think it also taught me a different grind in how to kind of navigate than going into the workforce. So that was kind of where it all.
But I mean, going to college in New York City is like, you mentioned like a grind, like that's a whole nother world. It's not just a normal college town. Where did you have to toughen up a little bit? Because I lived in New York for a little bit, and my mom was like, "Excuse me," because I'm from Georgia. She's like, "Where are your manners?" I'm like, "You have to hold your own here, Mom." You know?
Yeah, you have to hold your own. You have to like, and this isn't an extreme example, but I remember like friends who were at the University of Florida or like just in like college towns, and they could like you could go out. Not saying that this was safe, but like you could go out and like maybe drink too much and then just like find your way home and
saunter home.
Yes, you could saunter home, you know? You cannot do that in New York City. Like you do have to, if you're going to go out and party, like you got to be able to get back. And I think like those types of things, like learning to navigate like public transport, learning how to lug your stuff all around New York City, like that was in how Columbia is set up. Like, so we didn't have class on Fridays, and it was so that you could get an internship. So I started interning for CBS Sports, and then that allowed me to have experience working in New York City. And it just, between that and between everyone that I went to school with essentially being like, oh, I'm working in finance and I already have my job that I got after I interned my junior year and all these different things. And they're looking at me like, so what are you doing after you graduate? And I'm like, well, I have an interview with the NFL, but like, I don't know. I applied to grad school. I have potential options, but like, I didn't get a job until maybe like a week before graduation. And so I think when you're around people who all like have everything figured out and you're kind of in this career where you're like, am I doing something wrong? Like, did I make the right decision? But like, I also chose a path that everyone's path is different, where like I would ask people and they'd be like, oh, I did local news. Oh, I did this. Oh, I was a writer. And then I ended up on camera. Like nothing is necessarily cohesive in this space. So, and now there's social media. So you add whole new layers for this next generation. But I say all of that just to being around people that I think seeing how they were pushed to find success, pushed me to find success. And I think that is like that grind you learn in New York City that's different than other cities.
Totally. And I can see us all shaking our heads. And I'm sure anybody that is in the reporting space that's listening to this also knows that there's no one journey looks the same to get to where you want to be. And it's like, you're grinding and you're wondering, and the last secondness of all of that, I totally feel it to the insides of my core. I know what that's like. But you got the Stuart Scott Scholarship. This is something that I feel like I see posted everywhere. Before I even looked up your bio, I had already known that. So it must have been like, you were the first recipient of that, right?
I was the second recipient, but I was the first female.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So what did that do for your career? And do you feel like it opened some doors for you?
It did. So it puts you on like a fellowship at ESPN. So I was in Bristol, Connecticut. And then also there's like scholarship money. So then I was able to use that for grad school, things like that.
Amazing.
I think, well, it's funny. Obviously the sports industry is very small. And so by going to ESPN, like you just end up meeting so many people. Like when I look at like, because it's kind of like the intern class that you're with. So when I look at like that class, I have so many friends from like who I've found their careers in different spaces of this industry. Some have stayed, some have maybe tried different things, but like it just connects you in a different way. And like you often hear like, oh, like I was at ESPN. I was at ESPN. Like someone was always at ESPN. And so I think having that was a really wonderful foundation. The people that I met there, the relationships that I have. So that's something that I always keep really close to me. And then, so how my career went when I graduated from undergrad, I actually worked for a year before I went to grad school. and I came out to LA and I worked for the NFL Network as a production assistant. So I was doing that. That was a seasonal job. In the off season for football, I actually was working with Spectrum for like Sportsnet as a production assistant, doing just kind of random stuff that they needed. Because I wasn't there for long. It was just like to fill in before I would go back to the NFL. And then at that point, I had decided to go to grad school. Originally, I was going to go to USC. And then me being the indecisive, somewhat child that I am, I was like, ooh, I miss my friends in New York. I'm actually going to go back to New York and go back to school. So then I had gone to grad school, and then I got the fellowship while in school.
Oh, okay.
Yes. To then follow that. But I think like when I look at those early years and just, that's when you're really just trying to like make connections and be in different spaces. And like, I didn't know where my life was going to take me. I didn't know if I was supposed to be in LA, if I was supposed to be in New York, if I was supposed to be in Bristol, Connecticut. And so by having all of these experiences and then also having people just to help guide me. So when I was at ESPN, it was right before a huge structural change that they had internally. And so I actually was going to stay and do another program that they had, which was, I believe it was called like a digital content associate or something like that. Okay. And it was one in which you were doing a little bit of some digital things like on camera, written work, like you just had more of a reporter experience compared to like the production path that a lot of people are on there. And I found that, and I've also given advice, like if I stayed at ESPN, not being in this digital content position, because with the reorg, they just like, we're like, we don't know if we're ready to fill that job just yet. I think I would have gotten stuck on a production track and they would have only seen me as that. So I chose to leave afterwards, and I actually went back to the NFL in a, in a crazy way, like kind of a random job, but it was a job that changed my life. I joined the international team for the NFL. So the games that are in London, Mexico City, now Germany, Spain, like all of these games, I was a part of that team. And when I joined, I had played volleyball overseas briefly. I've done a lot of random things, as you can see. But I had played volleyball briefly overseas. And so I had experience, like living in different places and understanding the different cultures and understanding sport in different places. And so I came back to the NFL because I also wanted to be in LA. And I joined this amazing team. And I had one of the greatest bosses I've ever had in my entire life, who was the head of NFL International Marketing. But he also, whatever we would talk about the London games or things like anything with like the international growth, the development of American football, he would go on NFL Network or he would go on the podcast and he would talk about them. So he was kind of like the reporter and he could be like an analyst and whatever. And by seeing him do that, he was always very much like, well, if I can do it, you could do it. So these will be skills that you can have, understanding the marketing side. The role I need you to do is also some production. You will be doing some of the interviews as well. So that can be the reporting aspect. And then we can find opportunities to put you on camera. And he did just that. So we had a series, called Game Recognized Game, in which we would partner different football players here in the US and the NFL with football players in the Premier League. Or like, and then we would bring them together while they were here in the States, and we would have like different activities, and I would host that and things like that. And so, and I remember a conversation where I was like, oh, well, like, do you want me to talk to like the NFL's head of talent and see who they want to put on the show? And he was like, no, I want you to do it. And I was like, are you sure? So it was like all of these things kind of just happened, and having someone like him. And then when I had come back to LA, one of my old bosses from Spectrum had called, and they were building out Spectrum News One, and they were looking for MMJs. And while that wasn't necessarily the right fit, they were like, we still want you to come in. Maybe we'll see if there's something on the sports team. Then that became, I'd work in the morning at the NFL till about 3 or 4. Then I would go cover the South Bay Lakers. Then my classmate from Columbia Journalism became the VP of the Sparks Communications. And he was like, we need a reporter. And I was like, great. The games are on Spectrum. Then I call my boss at Spectrum. Hey, they need a reporter, but they can't pay me. But in my contract, I have a few more days that are left, and you guys don't have anything for me. Can I do the Sparks games on Spectrum and you pay me? that they hired me. Well, if you can do it, sure. so I was great. So I kind of like was hustling all of them. And then it became from that, the Lakers. I'm still doing the NFL. Then the world shut down. And then all of a sudden I got a phone call from my boss at Spectrum. And he was like, so listen. And this was now this was early 2021. I got a phone call from my boss at Spectrum. He was like, so listen, there have been some changes on the Dodger side, and it's up to them, but we feel like this is the right fit for you. And so we are going to put your name forward. It's, again, not up to us, but we want you to know that you have the backing of Spectrum, and we want you to go through this interview process. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? You want
amazing.
What was that like? Like going from, did you ever, one, think that you'd want to cover baseball, and two, for a team at the time, were the World Series champs, right? Reigning at the time.
They had just won in 2020. Yeah. And honestly, I never imagined working in baseball. It just wasn't something that was like really on my radar. I think I was so just locked in on football and basketball and like trying to like really like be great and grow in those spaces that I wasn't even thinking about baseball, if I'm being honest. And how it all came together, I was like, are you sure this is the right fit? Like, I know, like, I don't know, like basic baseball, but I don't know baseball to be a reporter of a team, you know? And they were like, and of course, my smart ass used to tease and be like, oh, well, like I have 2 Ivy League degrees, so I can learn anything. So, remember when you always say that? So now you can learn baseball. I was like,
I did say that.
Well played. Yes.
Got that.
So yeah, ultimately, like, it was one of those decisions that I obviously it's changed my life. Like I would not go back and change anything. And I'm so grateful because it was a challenge that I needed at the time. Like it broke me down, but the fact that I can still be here, the fact that I'm now 5 years into covering the Dodgers, like these are all things that it definitely took the support of a lot of people around me. And I'm very grateful for that. But like, I can truly recognize like this has done wonders to my career. And I'm just grateful that they saw that potential then in where we're at today.
It's so important. And your journey, I feel like, is such a good example because I get so many questions with girls that are graduating and they, you know, think that they want to just stick with football, or they think that they're, okay, I'm just only going to take opportunities in football, or I want to do basketball and only do opportunities in basketball. And that's great to like know that. But to your point, it's so good just to maintain that versatility because, I mean, if somebody were to ask you like, what, 10 years ago when you graduated, like, hey, or somebody were to tell you you're going to be covering the Dodgers, you'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah, I'd literally be like, that would be amazing. But I don't know if that would be me, you know? Like,
you just never know in this industry where it's going to take you. So like,
such a good question.
Open mind, like that's the best thing, I feel like.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Because look, like I said, like I knew I had like the skills to be on camera, and I knew I had the skills to, you know, ask questions and things like that, and the TV presence, but I had to learn how to talk about baseball, and I had to learn, and honestly, like, I feel like I'm still learning all the time. There are things that I have seen and like throughout this year that you're just like, so let's talk about that one because
I get it. Like this is my 5th year traveling with tennis. I didn't even know how to keep score 10 years ago. I didn't even know truthfully, I knew nothing. And it just takes people to believe in you. And plus you have to, I mean, kudos to you. Like you have to be willing. And that's the other thing. Everybody gets so dialed in, especially I feel like people in America specifically. You're football, basketball, baseball, depending on however you grew up. And that's all you see. Like you forget that there's NASCAR, you forget there's tennis, you forget there's golf, you forget there's so many soccer, there's so many other sports that you can cover. And if you just pigeonhole yourself into one little aspect, you are literally letting go of potential opportunities all over the place. I think it's a great lesson.
It is. And like also, if you are willing to open yourself up to other sports, like that doesn't mean you're not going to come back to a different sport. Like just and also, like, you might get to the top faster in these other sports. Like, that's the other thing to consider. And, like, I know, like, you don't always want to get to the top super fast, but, like, there is something of learning your skills and just having the base knowledge of so many different sports, because it's only going to benefit you. And I think what I realized specifically in baseball, I don't know if I had before like taking this job, I didn't realize like how many people that I look up to in this industry had actually been in baseball before as well. And just the skills that you learn from covering baseball, the grind of baseball, the skills you learn here really do like translate into other spaces. So I think for me, like that was something that was really big that I kind of was grateful that I, of course, had this opportunity. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. And then you start to see, like, I mean, I worked for an organization that had Vince Scully for 67 years. And you're like, how is someone there for that long? And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, you get it. You fall in love with it, you know, like you do fall in love with it. And I'm not saying like I don't know. I'm just saying I will be with this team for 6-7 years, but like in general, like the fact that there is that option of longevity with these spaces. And that's something that I think is very much in baseball, just that, but I also believe that like, I know that my job is also meant for someone else to learn and develop just like I was able to. And so I hope that that comes for whoever's next as well. So I think but there's cool to see that you can have that time in these spaces as well. Yeah.
Exactly. Just to have the longevity. Cause I think we get so fixated on getting to like the next level. And it's like, it's such I think now we're all kind of at that same age and same point in our career where it's like, no, we value longevity. Like we value just being, I mean, we've moved around from city to city. We've moved around and, you know, we don't know if we're going to have a job next year. And so just to be able to say, hey, like I can stay put, I can live my life. Like I can plant roots somewhere. Like there's so much value to that.
There is. And then there's, when you are a woman, like you can see other women who get to have the full experience and they can have the job and family and all of the things that you want. And, you know, that's something that I know it's something that I want personally. So it's also nice to be able to see that in this space as well, which has been very special.
For sure.
You both are so well-rounded in particular. I don't know. Our listeners need to know this. I'm sitting with royalty. Not only do we have former Miss Georgia, we have former Miss Florida runner-up as well. So the beauty pageant queens are literally running things in the sports world.
You know what's so funny? I've just been cleaning out this home and I literally have my like pageant dresses from downstairs. And I'm like, first of all, I do need to donate them. So if anyone does know of like a pageant donation, it could be a prom. I mean, today's prom dresses are fabulous. So it could be prom, but I do need to, it's time to let them go.
I had no idea about your pageant pass, Kirsten. So
it was a one run deal. I'm going to be
okay. So was it the Miss USA system or was it the Miss America?
Yes. No, it was Miss USA.
Oh my, wait, what year was it?
2020.
Okay.
Yeah. So while I had my 15,000 jobs, the NFL in the morning, the NBA at night, I was like, let's add to this. Because also I was seeing, and this is me, my Capricorn energy, it was like, okay, I'm seeing a lot of women who are going through the pageant system to then getting these jobs. And how can I put myself in a better position to like be successful in this space? That was all I was kind of looking at it as. And being from Florida, I knew I wanted to compete in Florida. I didn't want to compete in California. And my first time ever getting up on that stage, I had the most incredible pageant coach. I had a like runway walking coach. I had interview, like you name it, I had it all. So it's actually funny. So 𝗵𝗪 we were in Mexico City for the Mexico game. And that was in November. So we're in Mexico City and I think it was like 2 days, maybe 1 day left to apply to compete for Miss Florida USA. And she literally took my computer. We're sitting in the hotel lobby and she's like, okay, great. Well, you are going to compete. And here's going to be your pageant coach. Her name is Julie. She's amazing. And here's all these different things. And like, we got you. You will be fine. And that was how this all came together. And then the next thing I knew, I was competing for Miss Florida USA. And I was so close. So close.
I was going to say, Florida's super, it's very competitive everywhere, but Florida is very competitive. So for you to get first runner up, and especially like not growing up doing pageants, like that's good.
It was funny. They were like, so you're going to come back next year and compete. And I was like, respectfully, I actually just aged out. So, and then that became
no age limit.
They were like, what do you mean you aged out? And I was like, well, I told you guys, like because I'm an end of December birthday. If I was born in January, I could have competed one more year, and I probably would have, but I literally like missed the deadline by 2 days. So I was like, yeah, no, this is it for me. And it was going to be, honestly, I had the vision. Okay. I was going to win Miss Florida USA. The Super Bowl was in Miami that year, and I was working for the NFL, and I was going to put me a part of the pregame show at the Super Bowl as Miss Florida USA. And I was like, I'm just saying this would be brilliant for the brand. I know it doesn't work that way, but yeah. But then honestly, like everything works out for a reason. The girl who won, like she was very deserving. She'd been competing for a very long time, and she was aging out as well. And so I'm grateful that she got to like end her career on a high note as Miss Florida USA. And then, but unfortunately, like again, COVID hit, the world shut down. So she didn't even really get to like, maybe not reap the benefits, but like actually be in society as Miss USA because of everything. And then when I almost thought about doing it again, when the rules changed, now there is no aging out.
Yes.
I was like, do I compete in California? And
Neat.
I thought about it. No,
you should.
I thought about it, but the doctors were like,
I'll help you. I don't know how much help I can offer, but like there's still deep down this like pageant girl in me, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Like,
no, honestly, I learned so much. Like how you carry yourself, how you do your makeup, like just walking, like there were a lot of things. And especially I realized, because again, I was on the older end doing it, but like seeing the young women that were competing and have been competing for years, like just seeing their confidence on that stage and seeing like, I don't know, there is something really powerful about doing it. And I actually do recommend. I know like things are constantly changing but even the girls I've met or the women I met through it, like I still have relationships with all of them, which is really cool. Or I've been connected through like my pageant coach had worked with this other girl in DC. She is now a hockey reporter in Toronto. Like we're still good friends, and like we connected here in LA. And then like, so it's really cool to kind of see that space and how everyone has come together and just having those similar, I think there are some really core values that you learn from it. So I'm very grateful for that.
I'm glad you said that, because I think a lot of people just look at pageants and the pageant world from the outside looking in, and they're like, oh, superficial, you only care about looks. But it's like the discipline that you have to have, like just to take care of your body and like the interview process. And to your point, like you're getting up there and they're asking you questions about current events, and you have no idea what they're going to talk to you about. And you have to get up there and just talk. Like, it's a great opportunity for you to just kind of, showcase your skill set, and it translates so well into this industry. It really does.
It really does. Like,
well, for the record, as an outsider looking in, I think you guys are princesses, queens at all times. I don't know who's looking at this as superficial. I think it was so cool. Like, I feel like I'm like super famous sitting on this panel with you guys. This is so
my
fun.
gosh.
No, it literally, and I'll be honest, putting a crown on is like the best feeling in the world.
Exactly.
It's so fun. We're just like, wow, what a beautiful look.
I love it.
So,
well, Kirsten, so now we're campaigning for you to compete in Miss California USA. So
100%.
we know that's potentially next.
But
what else, like when you are looking at the list of things you want to check off career-wise, like what's next for you? What do you want to do?
I don't exactly know what's next. I, of course, am like putting myself in a position to kind of have some of those conversations, but I think I know what I want like down the line. Like I actually would love to like a Good Morning America. Like that is something I know I confidently want to, I want to be in studio. I can say that. Like, I know that down the line, I want to be more in studio. I love the idea of morning shows. So like Good Morning America has just always been something I have loved and dreamed of doing. I think realistically that means then like the next step is probably more in studio. Obviously our landscape is changing drastically at this moment. So what that means with how now streamers are coming in, how, whether it's like, what is Amazon going to do next? And are they going to come into baseball? Obviously we have Apple now in baseball. We've got like Peacock is taking over NBA. Like there's all these different changes that are happening. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't know if like the dream job I want for what's next is a real job just yet. You know, like it might be coming. Mm-hmm. But I do think like the next job I see, I would love to be hosting probably like more of like a pre and a post game show type thing, more in studio. Again, I had mentioned like I do want children and things like that. So I think that also allows for that lifestyle. But yeah, I don't know. Right now, what's next is in this immediate moment, the Dodgers are going to three-peat.
I love it.
So I guess that's where I'm at right now.
Sorry, Brooke.
Okay.
Sorry, Brooke.
Yeah.
Brooke had 2 investments.
That's okay. Jake's not here.
And White Sox, and here we are giving Dodgers a shout out. I don't know. This is going
that's where we're at right now. I will be with the team next year. I look forward to that season. I hope we can three-peat. Listen, I love jewelry. So we can keep the diamonds coming.
I know. Do you get a ring?
I do.
You get a ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
I'm going to be able to fill up my hand soon. So I've got a Rams ring.
I know. How many do you have now?
I now have 3.
It's awesome.
So, got to keep filling them up.
Girl.
So cool.
I know. So we shall see. I don't know what this means moving forward, but that's kind of how I envision like my life. So hopefully the next job is more of an in-studio type space. Maybe there's a world in which I'm doing that. I do love the idea of still reporting as well, though. Like I really love what 𝗦liche has been able to do.
Yeah, she's got a good balance.
Studio, and then she gets to be. So I do think it's important to be around the team and having that experience as well. And then, yeah, but I don't know. A part of me, when I look at my life, like in 10 years, I don't know if I'm working in sports. I get
that.
Yeah, cool. I think I'm doing a little bit. I mean, I really see a morning show, and yes, I'm always going to be sports aligned, and I'll always be able to talk about them. Or, I mean, look at that. You look at Good Morning America; they've got there's always a sports package. Yeah. So I see that, but I also see other things. I have other interests. You know, I read a lot. Like, can I do the GMA book club? I would love that.
We'll clip this off. We'll tag GMA too.
Yeah, right. I'm like, listen, what do you need? Sign me up.
The power of manifestation too. It's such a real thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, and not to like kind of NBC, I'll do the Today Show too. But I just, I just don't. I don't know. Like, I think it's because like things are changing so much that I don't think we really know what's coming. Like, is it maybe Netflix is going to have a show? And I would love to host that, you know, like I just, funny. Maybe Amazon has a show. Like, I don't know. And I'm open to it. I think that's the thing I've learned from this most recent step in my career is I am truly open to anything because it could be everything I dreamed of and more.
That's such a good mindset. Stay open-minded, because it is true. This industry is changing by the minute. I literally texted my agent today and I was like, what's going on?
Literally. And I actually on my way to our holiday party tonight, that is I ran an appointment, and then the next stop I'm stopping at the agency's office and I'm going. So it's the same. We're all having the conversations of like, I don't know. But I know that I'm excited for what's to come.
Love it.
Holiday party. That sounds so fun. Well, we'll let you go get ready for that.
Right?
I'm sorry? Oh,
it's
yeah.
Harry Potter world. Isn't that cool?
So fun.
I know.
Get butterbeer. I've been there.
Yes.
It's great.
The frozen one? Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really want to, I don't know if I'll be allowed to do this, but you can put a little Baileys in it. It's like, ooh.
Absolutely. Put it in your purse. Are you kidding?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
It's a treat. I mean, it's a holiday party. But a little.
Exactly.
It's a nice addition.
Wow, Dodgers capping a great season off with a holiday party at Harry Potter World. Well, Kirsten, we appreciate you taking the time. We'll let you get to your party. Congratulations again. What an awesome season for you. And we'll stay in touch. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you, ladies. I'll talk to you later.